Kicking off the 2024 season, expectations were slightly higher for the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially after a perfect 3-0 preseason. But week 1 did not finish well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A last-second field goal by Jason Sanders sent the Miami Dolphins on top 20-17. But in week 2, they would face the Cleveland Browns, a team with similar expectation. But it was another game that the Jaguars showed up all too late. Lawrence, under 50% complete, would fall to the Browns 18-13. And with pressure starting to mount, the Jaguars would travel to Buffalo to face the 3-0 Buffalo Bills. And they were destroyed, 47-10. And that loss made its way up to the owner, with multiple news reports coming in saying how furious Shad Khan had become after praising his team heading into this year. Being demolished 47-10 did not ease any hot seats around this team. So heading in to the following game, week 4 against the Texans, head coach Doug Pederson knew he had to pull off the win against one of the top expected teams of the AFC. But once again, a late game fourth quarter touchdown would land the Jaguars 0-4. After that game, Shad Khan pulled Pederson into his office to have a serious discussion. This team must win their next game, otherwise you are done. So as the Jaguars returned to Jacksonville to host the Indianapolis Colts, Pederson knew there was only one way to keep his job, to pull off the win. And that's exactly what they would do. Despite giving up 24 points in the fourth quarter, the Colts simply ran out of time, and Little's 49-yard field goal would save Pederson's job for now. But around this time, news started to spread around Pederson's hot seat, and it got to the media. And during a conference heading into the Bears week, reporters were asking Pederson, how are you going to keep your job? Pederson, are you expecting to be fired? Pederson, who would you want to even replace you? And of course, always the worst, Pederson, whose fault is it, yours or the team? And it didn't help that heading into this Bears game, not even face-to-face, but over text message, Shad Khan had let him know, you're still a loss away from being done. Pressure mounting, stress building, would have to defeat the 4-2 Chicago Bears for him to keep his job. And with Caleb Williams having a fantastic game, 4 passing touchdowns, Swift with a rushing touchdown, Lawrence only having 2 and an interception, his team would fall short, 35-16. So as he hit the office on Sunday, once again, getting a message from Shad Khan saying, office now. Pederson would walk in, and Shad Khan would let him know that the Patriots game would be his final game with the team. A little bit of a peace offering, if you will, for the firing, giving him one last time to run out with his team at home. And his team would rally around him, having direct conversations with him heading into the week, letting the team know this will be it for him. He did not know who the next head coach would be, but this would be their last ride together. They would storm the field against the Patriots and pull off a win, 32-16, pushing them to 2-5 on the year, dropping the Patriots to 1-6. But the very next day, Shad Khan would send the new head coach into a press conference to announce Madison Boston as the Jacksonville Jaguars' next head coach. If you've been around here for a while, that name might just sound familiar to you, as he was last seen with the Carolina Panthers, the 33-year-old tight end, ranking 8th all-time amongst tight ends. A Super Bowl champion, multi-year award winner, and Pro Bowler. He's now taking over as interim head coach. hitting the practice field. Of course, reporters flocking around Madison Boston, asking him how does he expect this team can turn their season around. And what he said was quite plain and simple. Get back to the basics, know your team, call plays that best support them, and put players out on that field with a chip on their shoulder, something to prove. And when it came time to address his new team in the same manner, that is what he told them. With expectations the same on himself, Shad Khan only gave him interim head coach. So he told the team, we've got to finish this year strong. If we could get to around 500, we might just do enough to convince the owner to keep me around and to keep many of you around as well. And with the new head coach installed, Shad Khan left him with one final note. We've got a tough stretch ahead of us. I know how good you were as a player. It's time to prove how good you are as a coach. And with that, I welcome you into our next series here on the channel, our first traditional franchise on Madden 25, voted on by you all. And it was a close race between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets, but pulling it off by just a few percentages were the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's meet the team and what I expect our new head coach in Madison Boston to put forth for us. And first off, this is a team that has plenty of talent, and they should be much better than 2-5 at this point. And of course, we're coming in here week 8, so perhaps we already need to make a move either before our first game or right thereafter to help get some capital or maybe even find a player for next year. But for the starting offensive line here, you have one young player here that maybe could build into something big with Harrison. He's a right tackle in his second year out of Oklahoma, a star dev. Now he's 76 overall, and he's very much a pass blocker. The run blocking is a work in progress. Will he ever get there? I don't know. He only has 82 strength, so there is some weakness to his game, but he's the best of whatever young offensive linemen we have. We have the opposite problem when it comes to right guard and center. Both Scherf and Morris, 32 years old. Maybe we get one good year left with them. Maybe they then retire, maybe they stick around, but they regress. So we already have two offensive linemen that might need to be replaced after 1 year. Ezra Cleveland has had a very up and down time to start his young career. He's only in his 5th year. He is a star dev, but he's 74 overall. He's much more of a run blocker. Pass blocking is a major question mark. And way that this team is kind of constructed, you want to have a little bit more pass blocking. And that's exactly what we have in Robinson, who is on the older side, upper 20s, I want to say 28, 29, and he's very much just a pass blocker. So he's going to help fill in the deficits of Cleveland, and Cleveland's going to help fill in the deficits of Robinson, because we've got Christian Kirk, a very promising young rookie receiver here in hidden dev Brian Thomas Jr., one of the many rookies out of LSU on this team. Now, he is a little raw. He's seen some development throughout the early struggles of this season. He's got a lot of speed and acceleration. The hands, most part, they're there. Still work on things. He's going to start as a big body slot because that release is not fully developed. You need to continue working on some of those route runnings. But with the ball in his hands, he can make some big plays happen, and that's exactly what we want to have happen. So matching him with Gabe Davis and Evan Ingram in a spread offense that should get the ball out quick, short passes, maybe the occasional intermediate, open up a few running lanes here as well for ETN, and if we have to bring in a power back, then Bigsby could also slide in. But the goal really is that quick, short passes, almost a college-style offense that's getting the ball into the hands of these playmakers and letting them go to work. Defensively, again, very similar to the offense. There is a lot of good players here. We just got to get the best out of them. Some of them are in the older side of their careers. You've got Hamilton, who maybe he could stick around for a little bit, mid-20s, but he's not fully developed. He's a 77. You then have Eric Armstead, who at one time was a fantastic defensive lineman. He's going to play a 3-tech for us, but again, he's on the older side of his career. There is one young player, another rookie out of LSU with hidden dev in Mason Smith. Now, he's again seen some development. The block shed, power moves there, a little bit of finesse moves. We could really mold him into whatever we want out of him. He's got a little bit of speed, lacking a little bit of strength for a 3-tech, but all in all, I think he could be a guy of our future. And when you pair him with other young guys such as Walker and Campbell, you start to get a little bit of a sense for the future. And you could honestly even throw Devin Lloyd into that as well. Now, of course, the only X factor we have is going to be Josh Hines Allen, 27 years old, and I expect a lot from him. A lot of sacks. He can rush very much with finesse. He's got a little bit of power to his game. Strength just as good as the rookie in Mason. So he should be an all-around good player for us and anchor one side of the line while we try to develop the other. And for the aforementioned Lloyd, developing is exactly what we want to see from him, and he's learning from a very good mentor in Oluokun. And they're very similar in their styles, which is why I think it's really good for Lloyd here in his 3rd year, a star dev, to have that pair with him, who he can really learn and develop from. He's got the block shedding, he's got cover ratings, he's going to get all the snaps he could ask for. Where this defense is probably the weakest is at the cornerback spot. We have Campbell, and I expect for him to be a long stay guy. He's still got a couple years on his deal. But outside of him, there is a pretty big question mark. We don't really have a proven number 2 at this point. We do have another rookie I want to talk about out of Florida State in Jarian Jones, who is a hidden dev. However, he's not quite developed enough to fit in the role that I would want for him, which would be a slot corner. He's got some man, we got to work on the zone, but there is no press ability there. So at best, he's going to be a slot guy. At 6 foot 191, he's got the size for it. We just need to develop a little bit of those cover ratings, the play recognition, the awareness, and the tackle, only to see a little bit of some improvement. So in the meantime, since we are so deep here at strong safety, Darnell Savage will start for us in the slot. Terrell Edmonds, he's kind of on the latter part of his career at strong, but the ratings are still holding. Over at the free opposite side, we do have Andre Cisco, and he's a guy I am excited for. He always typically does well in the States only, so I expect we can develop him. He's a star 4th-year player, so we might need to give him a contract right after this year. But he's got the speed, he's got the zone, he even has a little bit of man. Plus, he could hit, he could tackle, he should be an all-around fantastic safety. It just comes down to, do we have the money to extend him and so many other players? As it stands right now, players that would need a new offer heading into the next year is Brandon Scherf, Tyson Campbell, and of course, just mentioned, Andre Cisco. There's also Cam Robinson, and potentially even keeping around Edmonds. A lot of guys here that we might need to keep around. Walker Little, a upside for a young offensive lineman. We might want to keep him around instead of guessing on a draft pick. But there's already big money handed out here, taken up by 2 specific players. Trevor Lawrence, who's been a little bit under the hot seat of late, and as well as Josh Hines Allen. So can these 2 players leave enough money to go around to the rest of the team? And do we end up trading away some of these other guys? Christian Kirk is going to be 28 after this year. Oluokun, he's going to be, I believe, 30 after this year. So there is some questions around some of these guys. But I think the real question is, how good can this team be under new interim head coach, Madison Boston? So hitting the field for the first time, can Madison Boston pull off the win against a Green Bay Packers team who is still playing really good despite a lot of player turnover? Well, we are going to find out, as it will be the defense heading out to start Madison Boston's time as a head coach in the NFL. Starting with a 3 look and a quick pass jarred free. Cisco Love tried to find Reed, but it was jarred away. 2nd and 10, a bunch goes to the left-hand side as they look for Jacobs down the middle, an open lane, and a gain of 12. That's where we're going to need to see Hamilton and Eric Armstead perform. A flag comes in here well before either team gets set, and it's actually going to be a false start on the right guard. Had his hand down, picked it up, and now it's 1st and 15. As they go play action, Love, he's got time. Lofted throw is too high and out of bounds. A little bit of some mixed play for the Packers to start off. 2nd and 15. as they will look to pass the ball to the outside and tipped away. Great job from Darby. However, a flag comes in late and they're going to put a DPI on him. Just an awful call by the referee there. I mean, perfect coverage, but that's what we see in the NFL nowadays. A lot of bad calls from these referees. As a power run here from Jacobs, he spins off the tackle. He picks up a gain of 8. Only a couple runs for him on the day, but he's really put in work with them. 2nd and 2 as they go play action, and Walker puts the hit in on Love, taking just enough off of it. It was another pass intended for Reed, but comes up a few yards short, as they're going to need a few yards here. 3rd and 2, they look to go with a pass across the middle, and again, jarred away from Reed. 0 of 3 on those attempts. But at the 46, do they try the field goal? Well, they'll decide better not give Lawrence a short field. Indeed, they do punt it away, and we take the field starting back at the 9-yard line. It's a spread look inside our own 10. Trips to that right-hand side, throwing the screen, and a great play from 29. Not only did he beat the blocker, he then wrapped up Etienne. It's a loss of 3 as they stick with a spread look here, though. Handing it off, Etienne puts the foot in the ground, and he will pick up a gain of 5. That still leaves the Jaguars needing 8 for 3rd down at their own 12-yard line. It's a tight formation here. Lawrence is under center, though he will take the step back in, firing it into the grass. He took a hit as he released it from Van Ness. And Madison Boston's opening drive goes nowhere. Well, after a little battle of field position, Love comes back on out, starting at the 42. They got a tight shotgun look, looking to pass the ball, as he's got time, and Oluokun with a diving swat. We need him as well as Lloyd to lock down the center of this defense. 2nd and 10. Spread empty look for Love. 4-man rush going across the middle and finding a gain of 7 to Romeo Doubs. Packers yet again with a 3rd and short. Double A gap look. They go to Jacobs, and he's chopped down by Oluokun. 4th and inches. Another great stop by the defense, getting the ball back to their offense, who's not starting at their own 9-yard line this time. Normal field position at the 20, as it is a delayed RPO, shaking one and picking up a hard-earned 3 goes Etienne Jr. Now the running game for this offense, very much going to rely on him. But it's more than just that they're trying to get set up, as Etienne uses that 2nd RPO, breaks a few tackles, down at the 35. He picks up the 1st down for the Jags. And so far, not seeing much of that spread look that we were expecting. Gonna see it here with 1st and 10. It's an empty set as they look to set up the tight end screen for Ingram. Cuts it back towards the middle and will pick up a gain of 8. This is a skill group with a lot of speed. Expect Lawrence to utilize it. 2nd and 2, they get motion on that right-hand side. Davis motions on in as they look to set up the halfback screen. This time, Etienne with a blocker. He's got the 1st down. Jaguars starting to put things together. 2nd go around, a little bit more favorable field position. They keep that 2 spread look, and once again, they send Davis in motion. Right-hand side. They will throw his way, getting the catch on the outside and picking up a gain of 7. Oh, he is a little bit slow to get up. He will manage it and comes right back out onto the field for a 2nd and 3. Bunch goes to the right-hand side, though Ingram, he's going to slide to the left. As they might look his way, no. It's all quick stop routes. They wait, finding Kirk. That was one of the questions asked to Coach Madison Boston was, how do you get Lawrence back moving again? And it just comes down to completions. All of his answers were quite simplistic, and it all has to do with getting back to the basics. With a 2nd and 9, basics, they're moving this drive along. RPO quick throw is broken up. Stokes jars it away from Kirk, and it's now a 3rd and 9. With 8 seconds left in the 1st quarter, trips go to the right-hand side. Lawrence dropping back, going across the middle, and he finds the 1st down to the rookie in Thomas Jr. However, a flag is down, and this one is coming back. They get Anton Harrison with the hold and ends the first quarter for us. A 0-0 ball game. Though as we are just in front of the midfield line, we start the second quarter with that spread empty look. Lawrence drifting back, he throws across the middle, back for Thomas, and it's knocked away. Bullard with great positioning, knocks it away from the rookie, and it will be a punt. Keeping this game 0-0, neither offenses have found their way to the end zone or into the red zone yet. As Jacobs leads the Packers onto the field, 1st and 10 at their own 7. They go play action, deep shot, and getting the catch finally is Reed. He's been denied 3 times. That time he finally gets it in front of the safety. 1st and 10 now sitting around midfield and looking to scramble Love. He gets to the outside and slides down before taking a little bit of a dirty hit there. He had definitely given himself up. Luckily for the Jaguars, no penalty thrown on it. It's a 2nd and 3. They go to Jacobs, no play action to Jacobs, pass downfield, and getting to the outside, Watson slips a tackle, and it will be a Packers touchdown. Made a couple guys miss, bit hard on the play fake, and Christian Watson puts the Packers up 7-0. And with pressure on the offense now for the Jaguars, they need to respond. They've driven the ball, haven't finished a drive. They start at the 29. Lawrence in pistol. He's going to roll to the right-hand side here. Let things develop with the deep shot. Kirk overthrown. He had him. Didn't put it on him. Well, that really could have been the big answer that the Jaguars needed. Sticking with the same formation, Etienne looks to bounce it to the outside, and he will power forward with a gain of 5. That'll leave things much more manageable here for the Jaguars offense as they come out with a 1-receiver spread either side, actually tight either side. Hard count from Lawrence, though no one jumps. Goes underneath, he finds Kirk, and Kirk will get the first down with a gain of 6. Though he is not getting up very quickly, and eventually will make his way to the sideline. Though he does pick up the first down for his offense, keeping this drive alive. They go back to the mesh and find Davis coming across. He filled in for Kirk on that play. Leaves a 2nd and 3. 2 go to the right-hand side, 2 tight ends to the left-hand side. Lawrence letting things develop and works his way around the pocket, scrambling. He picks up the first down into plus territory. Jaguars now at the Packer 43. Keeping with 2 tight end sets, they hand the ball off here. Etienne cuts back towards the middle for a gain of 3. Ended up getting a pretty decent push there up front. And a 2nd and 7. Back into the pistol. Plus Strange in at fullback. They will go with the RPO, going Etienne. Slips 1, then gets knocked by the 2nd. And that still leaves the Jags a little bit behind the chains here, a 3rd and medium. They will need the 32 for the first down. Trips go to left, 1 to the right-hand side for Lawrence. Has the slant, putting it on him. Kirk, as he returns from his injury, gets the first down as a new injury on the field. That one appears to be pretty serious. Jair Alexander is going to head to the tunnel. His day might be done as the Jaguars look to attack that. With their number 1 receiver leaving the field, they go with a spread look, but waiting too long and taking a big sack. Kenny Clark down the middle. Lawrence has to do a much better job of getting that ball out. It's now 2nd and 20. They keep with a spread look. Got a player across the middle and diving. Reeling it in is Evan Ingram. Oh, if you take just a little bit off of that one, it might be a catch and run and a first down. Instead, a 3rd and 6. Bunch goes to the right-hand side. Kirk to the left. Lawrence, he's going to roll. He's got Kirk a little bit behind him, but he finds it. Cutting underneath the block of Thomas Jr. It's goal to go at the 8. We'll get a chance to see what Madison Boston looks for here at the goal line. Snapping the ball right before the 2-minute warning. It's to the tight end, Ingram, and it's a tight end touchdown. How fitting that the first touchdown under interim head coach Madison Boston goes to a fellow tight end. Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram tied this game up. Just under 2 minutes left in the half. Well, the offense for the Packers should be well rested coming off of their own touchdown drive. They got 1:53 and counting to try to answer back with a stop route on the outside, shimmying by 2 defenders. A nearly bad angle there from Edmonds. He does get the tackle, but it's going to be hurry up for the Packers as they're right back to it. Love swings it to the outside for Jacobs, and DUUUVAL with a quick tackle. About a 1-yard gain. They get right on back to it. 2nd and 9, bunch to the right-hand side. And Love, he's looking to scramble. DUUUVAL there yet again. Packers call the timeout there with a 3rd and 6. They're at the 41. Nearing field goal range for them. They'll need another quick play across the middle. Or how about a big shot dropped by Reed? It was a great throw from Love, but you got to imagine he heard the footsteps, and they will punt. But with 50 seconds and 3 timeouts, Trevor Lawrence and the offense can head on out. Can Boston get them into scoring range before halftime and put them on top? Well, they'll look deep here for Thomas. Flag comes down as it's tipped away. McKinney comes over to break it up. And if that wasn't bad enough, it's a holding yet again on Harrison. Backing us up, we're at our own 10-yard line now with a heavy tight end set. And looking downfield, they got DeGuara overthrown. That might have been a house call. Trevor Lawrence has missed 2 big-time throws today. They stick with the same look, going with the play action, and then no time to go out to the screen. They had the numbers outside, but there just wasn't enough time to throw. So 3rd and 20, they come out another heavy tight end set. Ingram in motion to the left-hand side. They hand this one off Etienne as he looks for the edge. He will turn up, get a short gain, but that is just enough to buy some space to punt the ball. A great opportunity missed by the Jaguars to take that halftime lead. 23 seconds left and a couple timeouts with a shot downfield. Campbell drops the pick. Love intended that one for Romeo Doubs. Nearly gifted us with perhaps another opportunity. Instead, 19 seconds still left here for the Packers offense as they go with the check down. Watson, the only touchdown for the Packers on the day. He gets the short grab. And with a 3rd and 4 here, could be the last play of the half. Quick throw to the outside and caught, turning down and getting out of bounds at the 37, keeping that final timeout and potentially in field goal range. Packers have had an issue at kicker this year. They might be trying to find the end zone instead, or setting it up right down the middle with the wide receiver screen. They call that final timeout, and out comes the field goal unit with a dead shot from 40 yards away. He's got plenty of power for that one. Packers take the lead thanks to Hopkins. So to halftime we go. 10-7, an opportunity missed there towards the end of that half to get that big catch downfield not only once but twice. We then give the opportunity back to the Packers. They take advantage. And as we hit halftime here, a pretty dark screen. Interesting, maybe the map should be a little bit brighter. We're taking a look around the league as the Lions are currently down to the Tennessee Titans towards halftime. And then going a little bit south of there, the Browns and the Ravens. Not so much of a surprise here, Ravens on top, 14-3, though it's still a close game. And for the last update, way down south in Texas, you got the Texans currently tied up with the Colts, one of the 2 teams that the Jaguars have beat this season. But starting the second half back here in Jacksonville, it will be the offense in possession. They start at the 28. As they look to hand this one off, Etienne had a pretty solid first half as he just gets pinballed around the middle. Unfortunately for him, all of that only gains 1. 2nd and 9. They look to go RPO and they go back to Etienne down the middle. He picks up 4 more. They'll have to find a way to get what they earned on 1st and 2nd, all here on 3rd, needing 5. 2 spread either side for Lawrence, who sits back in the pocket, has an open target. He hits Evan Ingram, who's going to get that first down, a gain of about 12. Offense hasn't exactly ran the way that was expected heading into this game, which was to be a little bit more spread. We've seen a lot of tight formations here. With a pass across the middle, they go to Christian Kirk. Had the injury in the first half, picks up a nice first down here in the second. And one thing that has remained true for this crew is that it's been very heavy with the passing. That as expected. A little bit of some play action here. Lawrence, he's trying to get all the way to the outside and looks for a late throw. Check down. Evan Ingram picks up 4 and takes a good shot for it. Well, the Jaguars, they are moving inside the 40 with another heavy tight end look. Kirk, the only receiver out there, as they'll look for another quick pass across the middle and knocked away from Ingram. Good play there from the linebacker in Cooper. Leaves a 3rd and 6. Hard count from Lawrence. No one jumps. Pretty steady up front. Taking his time before he snaps the ball. Rolling to the right-hand side. Throwing into a soft gap, and Kirk with a spinning grab. Maybe they didn't have to draw that one out as much, but still works out. Jaguars inside the red zone. As they have the RPO, they swing it out wide. Thomas, he picks up a block from Kirk, and he's got the first down inside the 5. A big body slot picks up his grab that actually counts this time at a previous one called back. As they go RPO, hand this one off ETN. He's going to lose about 1. Cooper yet again. The Jags definitely giving themselves options down here towards the red zone. 2 to the left-hand side, 1 to the right is Davis. As they swing this one out, Ingram dives, and he crosses the goal line. 2 tight end touchdowns. Are you starting to sense a theme here with the Madison Boston offense? It moves through the tight end. And with the Jags on top for the first time today, Josh Jacobs and the Packers offense hit the field to have their first drive of the second half. They go his way, and Lloyd chops him out for the loss of 2. That's gotta hurt, as Jacobs a little bit slow to get up. Just had to let those knees recover for a short moment. 2nd and 12. They will look to pass the ball, and they do to the outside, finding one of their tight ends who hops over the down defender. He picks up a gain of 9. We've seen a lot of 3rd and shorts here on defense. Another one, as it's the I form against the double A gap look here for the defense. Jacobs, he's got space down the middle and picks up the first down. Campbell has to come in to get the stop. Coach definitely didn't put him in a favorable position for that one. 1st and 10. Changing up the look here, they go 2 to the right-hand side, 1 to the left. Jacobs, the back next to Love, as they'll let the play clock run down before snapping and looking for their tight end. It's a little bit behind. Jaguars get a little bit lucky there, as they definitely were not tight in coverage. 2nd and 10, quick throw to the outside, and getting the catch. Reed stays in bounds just long enough to pick up the first. Love and the offense have done a great job of switching things up, some developing routes, some quick hitters, as they look across the middle and drop by Watson. He definitely wasn't wanting any smoke with the linebackers across the middle. 2nd and 10. Following the drop at the midfield line is the Packers offense. Throw to the outside, and Darby too late. Reed picks up his 2nd first down of the drive as the Packers are inside the 40, back to their I form. They will go with the weak side stretch. Jacobs had nowhere to go. Eric Armstead devours him in the backfield. The running game hasn't been the primary option for the Packers today. A couple big hitters, but the rest have been pretty short. They go back to Jacobs, and he's maybe back to the line. Maybe they'll give him half a yard. But that will send us to the end of the 4th quarter, 14-10. And a great opportunity for the defense to get off the field. It is 3rd and 11 at the 40-yard line. Love is making some changes here. He has a spread empty look. We got a couple options coming across, but a sack comes in for the rookie in Mason Smith. Dropping him back near the 50-yard line. It will be a punt as they put on their best dance moves. But here's where you want to see the offense come on out and play a slow, methodical, driving style. Nothing crazy, but get that first down and keep this clock moving. As they go RPO, they got Christian Kirk first down up to the 31. That seems to be the style that Madison Boston is looking for. Keep the defenses guessing while really doing nothing crazy outside of just running a simple slant. Brenton Strange gets the grab. He picks up 8. And that's all this offense really is right now. It's just quick stops, slants, an occasional deep shot, but they're really just working the basics. ETN, he finds a gap down the middle, bursting forward. He gets the Jaguars into plus territory. And they've already taken about a minute off the clock, letting the play clock get down to 1 before they snap it. though no one quite opening up here, having to bail and takes a massive loss. Lawrence had to get rid of it, but Van Ness picks up the sack, and he's going to act like he helped him up. Though we all know he was probably just standing over him. 2nd and 22, hard count, early movement. Kenny Clark, that'll be a free 5. And I'm sure Lawrence appreciates that, makes his loss not as big, but still pretty big. 2nd and 17, 2 to the left-hand side, 1 to the right is Davis. Lawrence, again, no one really open, though he's going to step up with the middle just completely evacuated. He slides down at the 33 with the first down. Well, he may have cost the team 12 yards on the previous play. He makes up for it, plus more there. As they're inside the 4-minute mark, Etienne, he's down the middle with a short gain. And the Jags are sitting inside their field goal range, which would put them up a full touchdown. 2 receivers to the left-hand side, 2 tight ends to the right. Lawrence, he's going to swing this one out to the running back, Etienne. He slips by 1, puts on a little spin move, and he gains 1. So perhaps not as crazy as it could have been. 3rd and 7. They got motion on the right-hand side is Davis. Etienne in the backfield. He'll leak out on a screen. They get a good block from 65, spinning off of 1, and a first down at the 16. Great play call there, and the 2-minute warning arrives. As the Jaguars are down at the 16, trying to put this game away. Etienne takes the carry right down the middle. He's got the first down at the 2. 14 rushes and 70 yards. While they want to go a little bit more pass heavy, they're keeping the running back involved as he has an opportunity to find a touchdown here. Following the blocks, he walks on in. Jaguars take a 21-10 lead late in the 4th quarter. And I'm sure that's something Shad Khan is loving to see up in that owner's booth. And all the Jags have to do is just not blow things up here with 1:49 left. Continue the defense as they've played today. Tight end to the outside, a first down. Love has had a pretty decent game out there. They just haven't found the end zone. Driving in, they go back to their tight end. He's receiving a lot of work today. 2nd and 5, back to the outside is Reed. They're doing the same thing. Just quick ins, quick outs, and they're throwing it on the money is Love. Already about 1:10 left here at the 40. Back again with that. I'll give him a medium in route. But I believe just the 2nd grab for Romeo Dobbs. Love with a clean pocket. He's got time, but he checks down to Watson. He's going to continue the drive here, but it's nothing fancy off of it. Throw to the outside and just over the top of Darby. He gets his head on a swivel, and that might be an interception to seal this game on up. Instead, drive continues. Swatted away. Good play from Darnell Savage, getting a little bit of some revenge on one of his former teams. 30 seconds left. They're at the 10-yard line. Going across the middle, Dobbs getting pulled down at the 4. And they might get the snap off for one final play. Just a little something before this all comes to an end. And getting the touchdown, though, taking a big shot is Love. But he's the only one celebrating out there. Jaguars win their opening game with interim head coach Madison Boston. And early on and throughout most of this game, they went to work feeding their tight end. They took a few deep shots. They definitely handed the ball off to Etienne. He had a really good game. Trevor Lawrence goes 21 of 28 with 188 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian Kirk got most of those catches, 84 yards, though the 2 touchdowns going to Evan Ingram. Devin Lloyd led the team in tackles with 7. 2 TFLs, 1 for Mason Smith and Eric Armstead. And the one and only sack going to the rookie in Mason Smith. And for Coach, that's gotta feel good. Coming in here your first game, and you pick up a big dub. The Packers, I mean, they're a pretty good team, and we were able to do pretty well. Now, we still gave up a lot of passes. Jordan Love, a lot of it was quick hitters. They got the ball to the outside rather quickly, and we just were a step or 2 behind. So things that we could definitely correct. Rushing game, though, I gotta say we did pretty well against Josh Jacobs. They only gave him the ball 7 times, and he was under 4 yards on average, so I'm pretty happy with that. Jordan Love, he got that last second touchdown. I was kind of hoping we would lay him out, and that was where the game ended. We still put a big hit on him. We'll let teams know for next time. Receiving Christian Kirk, pretty solid game out there. And Evan Ingram, we didn't get a first down per catch with him, only averaging 8.2 per grab, but he really did a great job across the middle. The only concern with it is he's 29 years old, and we're not too sure if there's that guy for the future behind him. But for now, you know Madison Boston is going to be using a lot of Evan Ingram. And one last thing before we go here, as I'm sure some of you are wondering, I am using some sliders here. This is all Madden, played on 8-minute quarters with the 20-minute Excel clock. Now, these are not my sliders. All the sliders you're going to see here for the gameplay, they're all Matt 10 sliders. He posts them on Twitter and I'm sure on some forums as well. You can go check those out, but I always use Matt 10, and if I notice things that need to be tweaked, we'll tweak them. And secondly, for sliders, when it comes to progression and regression, I am also using Mr. Hurricane's Madden 24 set. I don't think he's done any testing for these, but I still think it should be pretty solid. I doubt EA really touched much of anything when it came to XP progression and regression, but this should give us some young guys improving, older guys not improving as much, and then of course some of those older guys progressing a little bit more than they would base game. Well, that is where we leave things off today. As it stands, this is not exactly what it is in real life, but for us, it was. Taking over after the Patriots game. In our division, surprisingly, the Houston Texans are 2-5. They haven't had a good start to their season. Indianapolis, they're 4-3. And then the Titans currently lead the division right now, 4-2. So it's fun to see a little bit of some differences. Buffalo, though, and Kansas City, they're still the main people we have to worry about in the AFC. I hope you guys are excited about the new journey here with Madison Boston, a channel legend returning, and the story of the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that are kind of in the position for win now. However, will they have the guys for the future after 1 or 2 years? That is going to be our job, to make sure we have those players continue a strong push and to bring a Super Bowl to Jacksonville. So make sure you don't miss it. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down to the sub button, and definitely tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series will be every single Tuesday and Thursday, with college football every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The Stanford Cardinal heading to the off season following a really good year. It didn't end the way we wanted, but we topped it off with a dominating bowl game against Akron. Off season tomorrow, we will see you there, and we will see you Week 9 against the Eagles.